Welcome everybody. Suzette Speaks Live on your radio. Happy Friday. We're about to go live. Thank you for tuning in.
Fort Lauderdale.
Hey everybody, happy Friday. It's Suzette Speaks Live on your radio. How you doing? I am grateful to be here. Let me see if I can get the mic sound a little bit clear. Yeah, man, I'm excited to be here. Happy Friday. It's a beautiful day in South Florida again until the rain comes. We are going to be discussing a lot of different topics. I'm going to make this one a rapid fire show. If you're new here, welcome. Suzette Speaks is live every Thursday and Friday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. on Voice of the Caribbean INI Radio. You know, we do pop culture, we do current events. You guys know I'm a political junkie. We're going to talk a little bit about what happened last night between Queen of Media, I would call her, Oprah Winfrey, and Vice President Kamala Harris. They had a one-on-one sit down, and I know a lot of people have been talking about they haven't seen her do a lot of interviews. Well, this week we saw Vice President Kamala Harris sit down with journalists from the National Association of Black Journalists, NABJ, as well as what she did last night, which was an online, I would call it an online rally. Unite for America rally took place where Oprah Winfrey lent her star power to Kamala Harris, and they had a star-studded event. I watched the whole thing. I logged in early. In full disclosure, wanted to hear what everybody had to say. I wanted to know if you watched right now on Kamala Harris's YouTube. 1.425 million views so far. That's not including what's on Oprah's page. I think it was 300,000 on Oprah's page. 300,000 views, that is, on Oprah's page when I went back and saw it last. So 1.5 million people in 24 hours, less than 24 hours, have witnessed this incredible online Zoom, YouTube, whatever you want to call it, online discussion led by, again, the queen of talk, Oprah Winfrey. And she lent her star power along with several others, including Tracy Ellis Ross, that's Diana Ross's daughter. You had the incomparable Meryl Streep. You had so many others that came through, as well as everyday people. Some of their stories I want to highlight for you today. Women who have been impacted by, the gun violence that we've seen in the society. She had a young lady's family who had passed away in Georgia, African-American woman, 28 years old, healthy. But because of the abortion laws in Georgia, she was not granted a DNC in time while she had the medical need for one, because the doctors were afraid of being charged because of the 6-week ban in Georgia. We also have a 6-week ban with very few exceptions in Florida. So when we're talking about what's going on in politics, I'm going to highlight a few of the memorable moments I saw yesterday in this town hall style sit down interview. Kamala Harris, Oprah Winfrey held, it was about an hour and a half session where they talked to everyday people, like I said, who brought up their issues, brought up the economy, brought up, like I said, gun violence, abortion care, other parts of, what we as Americans have as our issues at the forefront, and how Madam Vice President did. I guess it's up to you. Did she answer the questions? I thought she did, held her own and spoke very empathetically, very hope-filled, hopefully, I guess, and all the ways in which she presented herself. I think she just shown herself to be an even stronger candidate. We're also going to get back to the conversation that we started yesterday. The phone lines was heated up, y'all. The phone lines with response to the denial of bail of one Mr. Sean Diddy Combs. Sean Combs was, is now currently behind bars in New York, thanks to the allegations that have been presented in a case, an indictment, right? 14 pages presented by the Southern District of New York. We had a very lively conversation with folks who were calling in. And again, you can lend me your opinion. I know there was a lot of, folks that say innocent until proven guilty. There's a lot of folks that said when there's smoke, there's fire. But it is still something that is quite interesting. I want to play a little clip that I couldn't play yesterday. Mr. Shine Barrow, Shine was one of the bad boy artists during Puffy's, bad boy era. And when he, went to jail, there was a lot being, speculated. And I want to play Shine as a Caribbean descendant from Belize, came to the United States, tried to live the American dream, wanted to pursue a career in music, ended up connected to Sean Diddy Combs, and then ended up honestly spending time in jail. Well, we know that Sean Diddy Combs also now faces a possible sentence of life in prison for allegations. Again, I do emphasize that everyone in the United States justice system is innocent, is presumed innocent, I should say, until proven otherwise. And then the prosecution must do its job to lay out the evidence. Again, we have heard so many pieces as the United States Southern District of New York gave us in a press conference like 3 days ago what was happening, and what they say is the result of interviewing over 50 witnesses, the result of over 100 electronic devices that were collected. That includes videos, cell phones, laptops, those type of things. We've heard, some of these salacious allegations. Again, I don't even like to say the word. I'm just going to say parties he had. And I think the prosecutor used the word, quote, freak off again, I'll probably just say parties going forward. I know we're all grown, but we have kids, that might be listening. But this is the nature of, the current situation where Me Too, has been around for a while now, but it's just now reaching the hip hop community. We've seen it with Harvey Weinstein. We've seen it with uh, Bill Cosby. R. Kelly. I think R. Kelly was probably the first quote unquote hip hop or R&B person connected to the music industry that we saw uh, finally face repercussions for all the things that he had been accused of. But now it's different. It's Diddy. And my question today is, who else? Who else? Because I've heard a couple people who have stepped down from very high power jobs that were in Diddy's sphere and in Diddy's circle. And I want to know if you believe that it'll just stop with him, or do you think there will be others that are in fact implicated? Now, we're going to talk a little bit of politics on top of this. I like to mix it up. It's a fun Friday, or what we call here Fire Fridays. Fire Fridays are a beautiful day here in on the Voice of the Caribbean I Radio. I also want to highlight a very sad story, just briefly for the family. There was a young man who was, and let me bring up his name, a young man that was unfortunately outside yesterday that was taken down by a lightning strike. This is a high school student in Pembroke Pines. So I just want to highlight this because we have been having this kind of very treacherous weather at every afternoon now. It's summertime in Florida, y'all. If you're listening on the app and you're not down here, it's a time where every evening is tough in terms of our rain. Sometimes you can't even see. I was even in the house. I was supposed to go visit my niece yesterday. I said, no, I'm not leave out because some piece of lightning start here. And when I looked outside, I was like, you know what? It's actually better. I'm not feeling 100%. Let me just stay here and wait it out. Well, I'm glad I did because unfortunately, we had a loss of life due to a young man who was outside yesterday during thunderstorms. And actually, when I saw the story, and let me pull up his name right now, the young man whose life was taken, he was killed by a lightning strike. And we don't see this, but it happens pretty often. And I'm highlighting this a young man because, again, I want to warn our audience and our loved ones, our kids. You have to tell your kids, go inside. You can't stay outside during rainstorm. That's one thing I was wondering. And I also, it's crazy that in my mind, I said, I wonder if this child was special needs. And it came out that the child was actually special needs. He had been diagnosed with autism at the age of 4, but loved ones mourning the Pembroke Pines high school student killed in possible lightning strike. I just want to read and off of Local 10 and just highlight him. A family and a community are grieving after a 16-year-old student from MacArthur High School passed away Wednesday after being found unresponsive in Pembroke Pines. Pembroke Pines police said that the teenage boy, identified Friday as Cameron Day, a young African-American young man, was riding his bike home and, here it is, was possibly struck by lightning around 5 p.m. We have to take this thing very serious. I just want to highlight this, and I'm going to get back to some of the politics, and of course the Diddy saga continues. But I just wanted to highlight this because this touched me so much yesterday. Watching the news reports at this young man, he was apparently riding his bike home from band practice, and he played the tuba. You know what the tuba is? A big old horn that you put over your shoulder. Again, 16 years old, MacArthur High School student, was riding home trying to beat the rain, but it had already started and lightning was already in the area. So we have a lot of kids right now in South Florida that's playing sports. A lot of people that's outside in the afternoons, walking their dogs, doing all kind of outdoor activities. And band practice is just one. We have to be cautious, and we have to remind our children and our loved ones that when lightning starts, you got to come in the house, right? You don't play, you don't try to beat it, you don't try to ride home. And I was watching an interview by another one of his classmates who sadly was just talking about, he was basically covered in metal. He had the tuba on him, or he had his instrument. He was riding a bicycle in this rainstorm, lightning storm, stopped underneath the tree. And sadly, a neighbor's camera caught where he had stopped. And then the neighbor, according to reports, said she heard the loudest boom and loudest strike she had ever heard. It was like her house shook. She goes outside. 2 minutes later, there's ambulance outside, and they could see where the possible lightning strike hit in the concrete. So, according to the neighbor who lived nearby, 1 second I saw him standing there just fine. The other, I was fixing something here, and I heard a really loud lightning. Says, and this is according to Sandra Laguna, who lives nearby. I thought it hit right here next to me because it was the loudest lightning I've ever heard. It was like really close. That's her quote. Fire rescue crews were dispatched to the area after receiving reports of a student lying motionless in the grass near the 600 block of Southwest 67th Avenue. When authorities arrived at the scene, they found Cameron Day lying underneath a tree, unresponsive, and with burn marks to his thighs and chest. 5 minutes after the rescue came, they stopped right here, and I noticed they were picking up a child, says that neighbor, Miss Laguna, who I just saw standing there. I assume that lightning struck him because he was fine a few seconds before. Authorities say fire rescue personnel quickly assessed the situation and discovered that the child was in cardiac arrest, et cetera, et cetera. Despite their efforts to revive him, the victim was rushed to Memorial Regional Hospital where he passed away. MacArthur High School principal Mark Howard confirmed the teenager's death yesterday on Thursday. Dear MacArthur High School family, this is Principal Mark Howard calling to inform you the tragic news impacting our school community, etc. So I was just gonna highlight that, guys. It hurt my heart, and I know we're not trying to make y'all sad, but it's something that we gotta be just reminded of. If you are in a rainstorm outside, if you are walking, if you are riding, we gotta remind our students and remind ourselves. Don't cut that last piece of grass. I always see that. The rain is falling and people are mowing lawns, they're cutting trees, they're cutting grass. Still very dangerous out here. And we and Florida have the highest death by lightning strikes. Did you know that? So we want to keep that in mind. All right, we're going to pivot. All right, pause. We're going to pivot. Let me move on to what happened last night, the Unite for America. Unite for America rally that took place online. Again, this was an online rally held by the Queen of Talk, Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey brought out no stops. She had a studio audience of about 400 individuals. This was taped in Michigan, and in Michigan, I think it was Detroit, Michigan, on purpose. And according to Oprah, she's an independent. We're talking about voting because it's right around the corner. Before you even realize, early voting is going to start here in Florida. Remember, you still have time to register to vote. If you have not registered, you can register on October 7th. That's the deadline, on or before, right? We don't want to wait till October 7th. But the Unite for America rally was an idea that came from, and actually another young lady who I've been following for some time. Her name is Joe Take It. She's a young lady that started an organization or collaborative group of women called Win with Black Women. She formed it right after Kamala Harris got elected as vice president, where she had felt that there was so much negative and misogynistic, meaning attacks against when she was newly elected Vice President Kamala Harris, just because she was a woman, just because she was a woman of color, Black and South Asian. And she felt that she needed to create a platform that was clear and counteractive to this type of attack that she saw that it was unique, to Vice President Kamala Harris as a woman who was just elected to the position of vice president. Fast forward, she has been having weekly meetings with Black women across the nation. She has a Sunday call now, which has totally exploded. And she also has individual state calls, and I'm a part of the Florida call. And the Florida call is, again, open to the public, open to anybody who wants to win with Black women, right? Who wants to center Black women in terms of the world of politics and making sure that our ability to, hold space, to fight for, the ability to run just as anybody else would for an office without being denigrated because of our gender and because of our skin color. She has been very proactive in creating this group that grew and ballooned to a phone call right after the day after Kamala Harris was nominated for Joe Biden's seat, or excuse me, when Joe Biden stepped down, I should say. When Joe Biden last month decided to step away from running for president, and therefore Kamala Harris decided to step up. From that very next day of that announcement, Win with Black Women, this organization I'm talking about, had a online fundraiser. It was really like, again, same type of thing, a Zoom rally, which is basically what Oprah modeled Unite for America rally last night after. During that rally, over 47,000 Black women came on one Zoom call. I was on the call. I was a part of that history. This is just not even 5 weeks ago. And Zoom itself had to open up the ability to have more people on a Zoom call because of this rally. Basically, in one evening, the day after Kamala Harris made clear that she would step forward to earn the nomination of the Democrats to run as president, over $1 million was raised in one evening. I was on that call, one of 44,000. Turned to 47,000. I think ultimately with men and other allies, Latino women, white women, other people started joining the call. About 53,000 in one night on one Zoom call. So Oprah did the same thing. I was watching it last night on Oprah's channel live. I think I was watching 300,000 people at one time watching it. But shout out to the Win with Black Women founder, Joteka Edie, who gave us the blueprint for how to organize people for a common cause. Now I'm going to play a little bit of this rally. If you didn't watch it, it's on YouTube. Like I said, on Kamala Harris's YouTube. 100, well, no, almost 1.5 million views now, 17 hours later. But this was about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes. Oprah hosted it. Again, celebrities were in the building alongside everyday people who voiced their struggles to Madam Vice President and really wanted to hear what she had to say about the economy, what she had to say about jobs, what she had to say about, all the ways in which people every day feel struggling, man. I was watching a post online talking about what has not gone back to normal since the pandemic. People say everything from people's attitudes, like people are meaner. What has not gone back? Well, definitely grocery prices for sure, right? You're definitely cost of living hasn't gone back. It's like they're making us pay for the pandemic. And we talked about, people wanting to be homeowners and people wanting to buy a car and things. Well, thankfully, the interest rates came down yesterday. The Fed, the body that governs how much interest. Actually, Mikey did a wonderful show. Big up Mike and Mike yesterday about, how financing works in this country. And I forget the name of the car seller, but wonderful show yesterday. Very informative yesterday morning, just talking about what the changes of interest rates means to what you can borrow so that you can live the American dream, which is to buy, finance. But most people borrow in this country and then pay off little by little, right? To afford a house, afford a car, to, all kinds of loans, whatever. So she went into some depth yesterday. I want to play a little bit of a clip before we get to the break. I got more on Diddy though. When we come back, I want to talk about Shine's response. A lot of quiet people though. It's a lot of quiet people. You would think with the Me Too that more people would have spoken up by now within Diddy's circle. I'm talking about, we can make the list, right? There's so many people who are in Diddy's sphere but nobody is talking about, supporting him or even saying, yo, this was what happened. We don't see it. We don't see it. Let me play a little bit of the Unite for America rally, and before we go to break, and then we're going to come back with more Diddy on the other side. Rising in here?
I can, and I have to tell you, there's so much that I love about our campaign because it really is about the people. And I look around at these screens, Oprah, I look at who's in the room, and this is America. This is America. You know, I was saying with a group of friends earlier, I think in this moment where we've dealt with so much that I think is quite exhausting around powerful forces that would try and divide us and try us to have us as Americans pointing fingers at each other.
Yes.
That this movement that is about reminding each other that we have so much more in common than what separates us is so critically important. And this is about the strength of who we are as Americans. And this movement that we're in about, as I like to say, seeing in the face of a stranger a neighbor. Right?
That's That's Oprah and Kamala Harris. There's so much more I can play. And this is also available on YouTube. This is the Unite for America rally that took place last night. Just giving my feedback and reaction to it. Oprah Winfrey sat down with Vice President Kamala Harris and many others, 400 in her audience. Many celebrities also chimed in with why they're supporting her. We got a lot more to talk about. Stay tuned. More Suzette Speak Show live right after this break.
Florida's premium bass Marie, Colors Music Fair returns on Sunday, September 29th, 5001 South Remaining Road, Miramar, from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. Hosted by Denise Sebastian Giano, Jeffrey Port, and Dallas in Paris. Music by Chris Darwin, Champion Squad, Dirty Dex, Sir Toxic, Just Innocent, Joshy Vibe, and Coolie Hot from Cayman, from Bahamas, Little Giants, Pusha Jr., and DJ Sang. Free soul tickets and Cabana packages are available on Eventbrite at Colors Miami, 24.eventbrite.com. Event is sponsored by this radio station. Flow Jam Legal provides legal services in areas of immigration, family law, personal injury, Jamaica probate, and real estate conveyance. Attorney Open Lee is available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year via email at info@flowjamlegal.com. 600 South Andrews Avenue, Suite 405 in Fort Lauderdale, and 4727 North University Drive in Lauderdale, 954-358-2020. And in Jamaica, at the Dunrobin Plaza, 30 Dunrobin Avenue, Suite 10, telephone 876-755-4594. Office hours Mondays through Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays by appointment. Thanks, Flojan Legal Team, for your kind sponsorship to WZPP Radio.
Tamarack Commissioner Marlon Bolton. He became the first Black commissioner in the history of the city of Tamarack, and he's making our community proud. Commissioner Marlon Bolton announced first-time homebuyer programs, home rehabilitation programs, created job opportunities for Tamarack residents, and provided grants to high school students and nonprofits. Commissioner Marlon Bolton also announced beautification initiatives and so much more. About Commissioner Marlon Bolton at electmarlonbolton.com. 954-275-3850. Sponsored by Marlon Bolton, nonpartisan for Tamarack Commissioner District 1.
Take Broward County Transit to where you want to go. Plan your next outing with a BCT. It's affordable, easy, and stress-free. Instead of driving, let BCT take you to the festival, sporting events, the mall, and other favorite spots. So just try it. Visit broward.org/BCT to plan your next outing. Broward County Transit takes you where you want to go.
Thanks for your support of this radio station.
Stars Amongst Legend Music Festival and Blender Production presents Hamilton Blender's 70th birthday celebration on Sunday, November 24th, with live performances by Hamilton Blender, Sprung Bags, and Sasko, Ayate, Smash, Tony Stevens, Ultimate, Louis Culture, Dragon Kid, and many more on Sunday, November 24th at the Miramar Readiness Center from 12 noon until 10 p.m. Pre-sold tickets available now on carrotix.com. For more info, 954-470-3281.
M&J United Auto Sales. No credit, no problem. Easy financing, no social, no problem. Apply online for easy approval and finance options. M&J United, your one-stop shop for all your auto needs. used cars, even special car orders. MJCarsales.com. That's 954-530-9366. 954.
Almost done with the commercials, guys. I'll be back live just momentarily. I appreciate you. What's up, Malcolm? I see you, Smooth Approach. I see you, Mendrell. Shout out to Andrew Walker. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button, please.
Specializing also gold, sofas, chair beddings, and lots more. For more information, Teddy can be reached at 561-929-5234 or emailed at teddyupholstery@gmail.com. Teddy Upholstery is located at 5618 Northwest 8th Street, Margate.
Thank you for your support to this radio station.
Miami Pro and Junior Carnival 2024 Fun Family Day, presented by TD Bank and hosted by Visit Lauderdale and the city of Lauderdale on October 5th. Gates open at 1 p.m. at the Center of Breward Park, 3700 Northwest 11th Place, Lauderdale, Florida. Junior Steel Band Competition, Junior Calypso Soca Monarch, and live performances. Advance tickets available now at all Caribbean outlets at MiamiCarnival.org.
Yes, pleasant good afternoon and welcome back to the Suzette Speaks Show live. It's your girl Suzette Speaks. I'm live every Thursday and Friday right here on the Voice of the Caribbean, I Radio. Appreciate you listening. We've been having a wonderful conversation. Carla, I saw you call, but if you want to call back, we're moving along. We're going over news. You can use highlights and stories again to the family of Mr. Cameron Day, the 16-year-old MacArthur High School student that lost his life yesterday in the rain due to an alleged possible lightning strike. I again send my deepest sympathy. This is our community, right? So when one loses a child, a 16-year-old, this tragically and so suddenly, we grieve with our community. So here on behalf of the Voice of the Caribbean, I Radio, we're saying our deepest condolences and our love and respect to the MacArthur High School student who was riding home from his band practice yesterday in the rain. And unfortunately, it looks like, according to reports, that he was struck by lightning. So Cameron Day's family, if you're listening, we are with you and we mourn with you. And we're sending our thoughts and prayers with you. As we pivot, we've been talking about Win with Black Women. Win with Black Women and Oprah Winfrey sponsored a talk yesterday, what they call an online rally called Unite for America. It was hosted by the Baroness, I would call her, the media baron, Oprah Winfrey herself. She had Kamala Harris alongside a long list of star-studded guests who were speaking up as to what issues were the most important to them and why they decided to vote for Kamala, or are deciding to support and vote for Kamala Harris. You can go to Win with Black Women. They have a wonderful weekly call that I'm a part of. I go on it and I listen to what's going on in all over the country. They highlight political issues affecting Black women, affecting Black women who are running for office, affecting Black women who are being challenged in more ways than one. Not because they don't deserve to be challenged, but again, sometimes it's unfairly that Black women are targeted when it comes to this political arena. So Win with Black Women has again been around since Vice President Kamala Harris was installed as vice president because of the misogynistic and racist attacks that she uniquely was starting to experience in and around the time that she was running when Joe Biden was first elected. And this group has been an advocacy platform used to help Black women excel and succeed in the political arena. So much so that it has gotten national attention. And then again, they collaborated yesterday with Oprah in an online, it's available on YouTube, conversation with Vice President Kamala Harris. You can also visit winwithblackwomen.org, winwithblackwomen.org. I go on the Monday night calls every Monday, I think it's 8:30, with the women of Florida from all across the state. We talk about who's running where and what we need to activate so that Black women are successful in the political arena. And of course, the big picture is what we saw yesterday, which is the presidential race, which is upon us right now. There's early voting happening all over our country already. Soon in Florida, by next month, will be early voting. So making sure you talk to your friends and your neighbors and make sure they're registered. Remember, the deadline to register to vote is October 7th. Now we're going to pivot back to the Diddy case. I have a caller already. I want to play what Shine had to say. I want to talk about the rap sheet that's been going on for decades now, right? When we look back at what Diddy has been accused of over the years, people are wondering how did it take so long and why is it not sticking? I appreciate you. I see you online. Big up Andrew Walker watching on the YouTube side. Mandrill, I see you. Smooth Approach. Malcolm, I see you online. If you're watching on the app, if you're watching on the YouTube side, Suzette Speaks, you can follow me on all platforms and you can follow the Voice of the Caribbean on all platforms. Make sure you stay up to date with the latest news. We always post the news. Let me go to my caller before I get into some of the details. I also want to talk about what Diddy will be eating. I know, are you guys interested? There are people now who are sending me this is what he can get on the commissary list because you know he has been denied bail and he will not be able to leave federal custody. He will have to sit in jail. As of right now, they were still trying to appeal again. But he is now going to be in jail until his court date. We got to wait and see what happens. Again, he's presumed innocent and he is vehemently denied allegations against him. So let's go to the phone lines. Good afternoon, caller. Caller, you hearing me?
Blessings.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I want to back up a little bit after the Diddy thing and go back to Kamala thing because I never get to express that feeling there.
Okay, and you want to talk about Kamala? Go right ahead.
But I like Oprah, the platform we should have, and the social media programming where them can line up. I would like her to summon all the women them without kids to keep a meet like that. Just like the same one here.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. All the mother them who don't have a kid and have a pet truck, a mobile pet truck outside and say, you get a cat, you get a cat, you get a cat, you get a cat.
Listen, you
After she hear all them stories with them go through and with them been through, not getting a kid can't conceive or them adopt kids. After all of that caution them put out, then she say, all right, you know what? I have a surprise for you. You get a cat, you get a cat, you get a cat, you get a cat. So I have to kill them with them disciples because they're not coming in. All of the motherless cat lady them will get disturbed. I got to get happy that day.
Oh my word. Oh my word. Oh my word.
Be a good offset, I'm telling you.
Oh, okay.
So, that's how I feel. That's how I feel. After the king, my lips seal because he's a man who just look and listen. A good listener will always learn. I like when you say, well, if a people keep silent within the circle. Because me never in the circle, me can't talk about nothing I don't know. That's listening time. Good listener will always learn.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's my little take on the thing. But it is really something to think about. Something to take as a joking. Yeah?
No, you're right. You're right about that. Well, I appreciate you, caller. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I'll take your comments off the air. All right. Thank you so much. So yeah, last night's rally, as he has spoken about, was actually a group of a coalition, I could call it, of the different um, interest groups that are supporting Kamala Harris. So I know he's talking about giving people cats. I'm not, I don't have any kids, but I don't want no cat either. but but it was interesting. There were, Swifties for Harris. There were cat ladies for Harris. There was a little bit of everybody. I think it said over 50 some groups of people with different interests. Republicans for Harris were a part of the discussion yesterday as well. Mothers against guns and things like this, or gun violence, I should say, not against guns, against gun violence were a part of it. And it was a mixture of people coming from different walks of life who all were supporting Kamala Harris. That was the point of it. So you had, like I said, Hollywood, and some people were saying, does it help her to get the Hollywood people, the actresses and the big, performers in there? But groups including Swiftie, that's Taylor Swift people for Harris, made up the fans, right? Fans who are Taylor Swift fans. Cat ladies for Kamala was a part of them. Women mocking, again, they're not saying necessarily they are cat ladies, but they were mocking, they use that name, mocking comments by Trump's running mate, JD Vance, on Childless People. You know, all those people were tuned in remotely. And it was supposed to emphasize how much people have in common. What are we working towards? And where is the common ground? And it was highlighted over and over again. You know, there are places in which no matter where you are, the Midwest, upper class, middle class, working class, whether you're a woman with children, whether you're a woman without kids, whether you are a man without kids, or you're married or single, or you also, you know, have a modest income. No matter where you are in this country, there is common ground that we can all come together on. But again, I think last night was a true testament to the contrast between Kamala Harris's brand of politics and Donald Trump's brand of politics. Again, Donald Trump is out here still talking about, even though it has been disproven time and time again. It makes me so upset with the untruthfulness of this candidate. A man who's running for president accusing our Haitian brothers and sisters of eating pets, even though over and over the Springfield, Ohio officials have come out to say this is not true, and he's still peddling in conspiracy and lies. Bottom line is he's trying to pit us against one another. So the breath of fresh air that I saw yesterday on the Unite for America rally, again, you can watch it. It's on YouTube, Unite for America. Just look it up or go look up Oprah on YouTube. It is easy to watch. You can put it in your earbuds and just listen, because you want to hear how she answered the economy questions. I love how she answered particularly the abortion question. There was a heart-wrenching segment with a young lady's family from Georgia, 28-year-old, who lost her life because doctors were afraid of being removed, their license removal, or being sued, or even arrested. They didn't want to give the lady what it was, a medically needed procedure, a DNC. And they waited 20 extra hours. Her body had become septic. Her organs start to shut down on her, and it was an unnecessary death. There was a couple women that were highlighted in during yesterday's Unite for America rally with Oprah Winfrey and Vice President Kamala Harris. When I listened to the families of, just even right now, the Appalachia high school shooting, when one of the mothers talked with her daughter, the little girl is a high schooler with her hand banded up. It looked like she got shot by her classmate in the wrist. And the mother talked about the fear. She said she'd drop on her knees when one of her fellow school mothers called, said, yo, there's a shooting, you gotta go. She told her co-workers, oh my God, panic, panic, panic. She couldn't get her daughter on the phone, drop on her knees, stop, bawl out to God. For 30 minutes, she said she prayed. Then you couldn't get close to the school because they had locked off, you know, the road. She said she had to park at like a random place, walk almost 3 miles to get to the school grounds. The young lady said it was too early in the year. They hadn't even had an intruder. This is during the Unite for America rally hosted by Oprah again, featuring Vice President Kamala Harris, to try to rally the people who think she would be the better candidate for America. When I listen to some of the testimonies and on the issues, on the abortion issue, remember, it is Mr. Trump who appointed 3 Supreme Court justices who overturned Roe v. Wade, taking away a woman's right to choose what to do with her body. And in fact, now most of America is affected by some unreasonable, to me, my opinion, my personal opinion, unreasonable man, where you don't even know you're pregnant, where you don't even know the signs of pregnancy. And then you have all kind of complications. People think just because you get pregnant, it means you got to have a baby. There is medical complications that happen naturally, that you might need some sort of procedure to save the mother's life, your wife, your sister's, your daughter's life. And that they have put government into this decision making. And she made a clear contrast with that yesterday. She said, we have a president who don't care. That's what Kamala Harris, paraphrasing, said yesterday during the Unite for America rally hosted by Oprah Winfrey. You can find it on YouTube. But when I look and check it all issue for issue, you got to figure out, where do you stand and who best represents you. Carly, I know you're still on the line. I'm going to give you a response. Go ahead. Carly, you wanted to respond? All right, go ahead.
The whole situation is that they gonna say whatever they want to say in order to get a vote and get a boost out of some mega people or whatever. You know you're wrong, but you're not gonna stop. You're gonna keep it, because once you get it out there, you're gonna have people who is gonna jump on it. But it's not right. Besides, she's not looking for that. She's not gonna deal with that. She don't even want to answer question about that. She want to move on because she's not going back.
I
Where's she about it?
I hear you. I hear you. I appreciate your feedback. And like I said, it is important that we are paying attention. That's why a rally like yesterday is important to watch. Hear for yourself what the candidates have to say. Hear for yourself what Kamala Harris, she just did an interview with the National Association of Black Journalists. That was also recorded earlier this week. I think it was like a 45-minute one-on-one sit down. It was actually her and three journalists from the National Association of Black Journalists, NABJ, the nation's oldest organization that advocates on behalf of Black people who serve in media, right, in journalism. And she did a one-on-one with them. She did a one-on-one with Oprah now. So it's more about her out there that you can discover if you feel like you don't know enough about her or where she stands on issues or what she has to say, what she really going to do for you. Like I said, with inflation being on people's minds, above all, the economic piece. Again, there are so many other international pieces. We talked a little bit about it with Israel yesterday. What's going on overseas affects at home big time. So not knowing what's happening around you, it can cost you, right? So we have a big election coming up. We got to start our research from now. We have to encourage one another to register. If we're not registered, we have to make sure we check our supervisor of elections websites. Look up your name wherever you live, whatever county you live in, there is a supervisor of elections office, right? That keeps a roll of who is eligible to vote. Some people haven't voted in a very long time, and they will go on there and see that they have been put on an inactive list. You have to make sure before voting time starts, right, that you are updating. And there's still times that you can change what we call update or correct a ballot that is now ineligible or considered provisional. If you didn't have your updated address or your signature not updated, et cetera, just request a vote by mail. You can go on your supervisor of elections website. Each county has one person that's in charge of an election, and they're called the supervisor of elections. And you can look them up and look up voter lookup, and you can look up yourself and your name and make sure that you are in the active status and that you don't need to do any kind of update as far as your address or where you're going to be voting. You're going to look up where you're going to be as far as your designated voting area. So finishing up, I wanted to get back to the Diddy case. Diddy do it, did he not? Again, we know that in the United States justice system, there is the presumption of innocence. We're not going to hold him guilty, right? He has to be proven. Evidence has to be presented, right? That leaves us in a reasonable mind frame that it is possible that what they're accusing him of is in fact what happened. Nobody knows unless you were 100% there, but this is how our system works, right? We present evidence and we have the judge as the umpire, right? What comes in fairly according to the law, what doesn't come in. And in this case, we've had two judges now consider Mr. Combs, Sean Diddy Combs, hip hop mogul, now disgraced and being accused of some heinous crimes, including sex trafficking, including racketeering, arson. The list is very long. 14-page indictment was filed earlier this week by the Southern District of New York, right there, prosecutors. So looking at what he now faces, I'm going to play what Shine Barrow said about Diddy. Shine Barrow said Diddy destroyed his life. Again, if you remember, hip hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs had Shine as a part of one of his groups, you know, the Bad Boy Records featured artist at one time during the height of this what can I say, legacy of Diddy, right? When hip hop was just the burgeoning and uh, culture changing force, right? That's that era, the 90s, 80s, 90s come through, early 2000s. But these were the times of uh, growth when it came to this genre of music, right? And the impact it was having in the United States and around the world. And, you know, Shine Barrow, as we know him, Shine by his stage name, Moses Shine Barrow, says he does not take joy in the downfall of Diddy, although, again, he spent time in jail, if y'all remember. I wanted to go over some of the past allegations. I don't know if I have enough time before the show ends, but I do want to play a short clip. This was from Channel 5 Belize. asking if you guys don't know, Shine is now a politician in Belize, right? Been very successful. And again, big of everybody watching online. Suzette Speaks Show live every Thursday and Friday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. right here on Voice of the Caribbean I Radio. This is also your last chance to call in if you want to make any commentary about the win with Black women and Oprah and Kamala Harris having a Zoom call now over 2 million views in less than 18 hours, and that's on between Oprah's platform and Kamala Harris's YouTube channel. On their YouTube channels, you can see that more people have probably watched it as well, because Win with Black Women also broadcast it. But if you want to call in, this is your last chance to tell me what you think about today's topics. 850-446-0562. Get you right in touch. Suzette Speaks Live. Remember, you can also follow us at the Voice of the Caribbean on Facebook, Instagram, X, right? YouTube. You can watch us. You also have the app, right? You can download it. You can see me right now in the studio, like those who are also watching on the Suzette Speaks YouTube channel. You can follow me on all platforms. 1Z, 2T, Suzette Speaks with an S, right? You can follow me on all platforms as well, and I'll follow you back. But I'm going to play a little bit of Shine. Let me make sure you can hear it. And this is what Shine had to say when asked about the Diddy case.
I think we're going to make my mother proud and make Belize proud and do what all of us want to do, be recognized for our talent and take over the world. I was defending him, and he turned around and called witnesses to testify against me, and he contributed. He pretty much sent me to prison. So that is the context by which you must always describe that. I moved on, but let us not pretend as if I was in Miami for Thanksgiving and Christmas. I saw a birthday cake. I went again to do a charity event for impoverished youth in London. So let us not lose sight of what the cold hard facts are. This was not someone who I had this great intimate relationship of brotherhood. This is someone who destroyed my life and who I forgave and who I moved on, and for the better interest of Belize, because he was in a position at that time to give scholarships and to maybe invest. I would not deny attempting to contributions to education to Belize, but don't distort it as if he and I were bombale. This is someone that destroyed my life, but do I take any joy or any satisfaction with what he is going through? Absolutely not. I am different than maybe other people. Your professional relationship, or thereafter through the reconciliation, when he was an instrumental part of promoting you through Revolt Media, were you aware of these freak off events, and were you aware of them? Did you have any participation in them? Oh my goodness, Jules Vasquez. Jules Vasquez. Were you aware of it? Jules Vasquez. Were you aware of the freak offs? So I had nothing to do with Sean Combs' personal life, no interaction. That level, everything was strictly on a professional level.
That's Shine, y'all. That's Shine. Shine was talking about his past relationship with Diddy. I think the reporter at the end there was a little bit out of pocket, asking the man, did he have any participation in any of those parties? Shine, this was just yesterday when interviewed in Belize by Channel 5. Belize was very forgiving. He has identified that he has indeed forgiven Diddy. At the time, Puffy is what he knew him as, and that he has moved forward. He does not take any pleasure in anybody else's downfall. He said, I don't need anybody to fall for me to rise. But he was very clear that he himself did not participate in any of these salacious allegations of parties. Now, on top of that, I want to leave you with this question, and the conversation continues. Again, Mr. Combs is presumed innocent until proven otherwise. He will remain in custody after being denied bail twice. He will be in a corrections facility in New York. that again has all kinds of bad reputation. There are people who feel like that was unjust after offering $50 million in bail. But there's others, like the judges, that believed he, in fact, was a threat to society. We will continue to watch this story. Again, there is going to be much more that comes out when it comes to, possible witnesses, etc. And we'll see if a plea is offered and whether or not he takes it, right? Looking at the commissary, I don't know if this is actually relevant, but people have asked me about what Mr. Combs will have availability to in jail. This is crazy. This is the snacks, right? So he's in jail and you can pay for additional food if you don't like the food in jail. This is what I'm just reading an AOL story, you guys. Sorry. This is the post saying that the snacks Mr. Diddy can purchase in lockup include, yeah, I want to hear this. I don't know. We'll finish up with this. Mac and cheese, and I don't even want to read this, guys. There's just so much that is not too trivial about what's been accused. But this was an AOL story that one of my listeners sent to me. Is if you're curious about it, it's out there. What he's eating, what he's doing. People are so curious about the weirdest things. But nonetheless, more to come with this story. I appreciate you guys. I do hope you have a wonderful weekend. Again, thank you for rocking with me. Suzette Speaks every Thursday and Friday on Voice of the Caribbean. You can catch us on 94.3 FM Miami, 102.1 FM Fort Lauderdale, 102.3 FM North Miami, Hollywood, 99.7 Orlando, Lake Mary, Winter Garden, and Big Up Vero, Palm Beach, Port St. Lucie at 105.3 FM. We got a lot more music for you. It's a Fire Friday. Big up everybody who's watching on the app and everybody watching on the YouTube side. Follow me, please, at Suzette Speaks 1Z2T. Suzette Speaks, and I'll be happy to follow y'all back. Thanks for listening. We got Lisa B coming up next. It's wrap. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great weekend. I'll see you guys soon.